and welcome to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis. Thank you so much for coming along with us here on Saga 960 on this Sunday afternoon or anytime when you're listening or watching to the podcast here. Once again, two broadcasters for the Brampton Steelheads here talking about Steelheads hockey, and we'll have a guest coming up in a little bit. But first, it's been a little bit since we've been on the air. So, Mikey, how have you been doing here recently?
Well, there, buddy. It's the way she goes. I mean, I've been getting over a cold here. It's been about a week and a half for the life of me, but I feel a lot better. It's probably the best I've ever felt in about a week and a half. I've just been at the rink, busy. March break is done with the family and whatnot. So, but that's about it with me.
Yeah, it's a busy time of year, of course. Like you said, especially with you, with your son and March break and all that. I'm sure there was a lot of good time with the family there.
Yes, yes, lots of bowling and we went bowling and stuff like that, and he's getting a lot better with his skating. They taught him to skate backwards, and
Nice.
he's doing very well. He's adapting well to the environment and stuff, and he's always willing to learn, which is a good thing. And he's a good listener, which we always preach to him all the time. So he's doing well with that. It's been all about family and whatnot, and getting over this cold there, buddy. So that's about it. That's the way she goes.
Yep, that's the way she goes. Good to hear that everything's going well with that and
Hmm.
everything. For me, it's been pretty much the same. Not a whole lot going on. The weather's getting nicer. I was actually thinking, I was
Mm.
like, I want to get outside, maybe play some golf, but it hasn't happened yet. The ground's still way too wet with all the snow
Yeah.
that melted. So still probably not going to get out. Maybe a couple more weeks, but it's looking a whole lot better recently. So at least we know the warm weather's coming. It's getting a little bit better. And you know what? Springtime, that's when playoff hockey's just around the corner. It's
It
coming up.
smells. It
Yes,
smells.
that's right. I
Smell in
remember
the air.
talking to James Richmond maybe a couple years ago, and him saying like,
Hmm.
at this time of year, everything smells better, everything tastes better. He's just
Yeah,
so excited for the
that's
playoffs
true.
and the warmer weather, and that's yeah.
Yeah.
So definitely we're excited for the playoffs as well, and it seems like the Steelheads are excited for the playoffs too because they've been playing some good hockey. We'll jump into kind of what we've missed. We won't go all the way back because again we didn't have an episode last week, so
Yeah.
there'll be too many games to cover. But we'll start out here, I guess. Where we can start is let's go with the Sudbury game against Sudbury in Brampton. The
Mm.
Steelheads did lose that one 8-6, high scoring affair, and then after that they got on a little bit of a run. But just quickly, we can go over that Sudbury game.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, you know what? It was one of those games. It was just, I guess you could say it was uh 8-6, not very well played defensively. I guess you could say on both sides of the puck. Sudbury took advantage. I mean, well, guess start with the Steelers. Getting off of that 2-0 lead in the first period, then Sudbury came back to make it 3-2. It's too bad Braden Gillespie got pulled in that game. Jack Ivankovic did come in that game. It was close until the second period, and then the second period, the wheels kind of fell off a little bit off the Brampton Steelheads, and the Wolves were able to, with their pretty good potent offense, jump on the Steelheads and take a 7-3 lead at one point in that game. So, but kudos to make it coming back to make it 7-6. And then the Wolves ended up winning it 8-6. But I'll tell you, if it wasn't for the second period, I think the Steelers would have won that game handily, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And James Richmond, talking about that game too, it was really just kind of the beginning of that second period where it got
Right.
lost for them. But I think you're right. Outside of that, probably would have been a better result for them. Quickly, we'll go over one more game and then we'll take a break and get to our guest. Then we have the Peterborough game,
Mm.
6-3. The Steelheads win that one in Peterborough. That's a back-to-back too. They play that one on Wednesday, midweek game in Peterborough. That's a big win for them there.
Yeah, it sure was there, buddy. It was not a good start in the beginning. Not a good start. I mean, Peterborough got off. I think the shots on goal were at one point 13-3 in favor of the Peterborough Petes, and then all of a sudden the Steelheads they scored the first goal with Porter Martone, and then after that they decided to turn it. They turned it on a notch, turned it up a notch, and they ended up winning that game 6-3. But you got to come out in those kind of games, and they're going to play the Peterborough Petes again. You got to come out right from the beginning with the pedal to the metal. You can't wait, and that's all I got to say. But they did come out with that victory.
Yeah, that was a big one for Martone, of course, coming back from suspension. Those 2 games, going back to his hometown in Peterborough, getting that first goal, and then, like you said, it really kind of turned on from there. I think they were actually 11-0 at one time. The shots.
Stevie Lescovar getting his
Stevie
first
Lescovar
goal.
getting his first of the year. Yeah,
Connor
that's
Smith
right.
coming back to Peterborough and absolutely dominating the game back there.
Yeah.
I mean, hitting guys, getting the puck, hitting guys. You know what? We'll talk about that later. How his game has come up to another notch, as far as I'm concerned. So
Yeah, he's been great. Aiden Lane had 2 goals in that game as well.
yes,
When he got moved up to the second line
second
there
line halfway
with
through the second
Rakoff and
period.
Carmiers. That's right.
Yeah,
And he started.
yeah.
He's really been on a run here recently. So we'll get into all of that in the back half. We'll also talk about the other 2 games that we haven't covered here. The one against Barrie, and then of course the one against Niagara this past weekend. But we're going to take a break now. On the other side, Kieran Witkowski is going to be on the show. I'm Brendan Lang. That's Mikey K. You're listening to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. And welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. I'm Brendan Lang along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis. Thank you so much for coming along with us here on Saga 960 AM. Now I'd like to welcome onto the show Steelheads forward Kieran Witkowski. Kieran, thank you so much for coming on, man. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, you just brightened up my day with that smile there, Kieran. I'll tell you that right now. Always smiling. So how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, thank you. How are you guys?
Very, very good.
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm sure the smile is kind of running through the entire team right now. You guys are playing some pretty good hockey.
Yeah, I feel like it's infecting everyone. Everyone's all happy around the rink, just ready to get going in playoffs soon.
All right. So what's the mindset right now? You guys are coming off a couple wins. The confidence is there. Talk about that moving forward.
I think the biggest thing for us is just keep playing the way we've been playing. Like, I feel like this back half, we're just elevating our game. And if we keep elevating, then we'll be set for playoffs. And it doesn't matter who we play in the first round. We'll steamroll them.
I like that.
There
like the
we go.
there.
Yeah, you got to like that prediction right there.
Got to put that out into the world. You guys have had some different kind of ups and downs of the season. Obviously, you guys playing your best hockey recently. How much does it help, the older guys on the team? I mean, Martone, the captain, McDonnell, bringing in somebody like Connor Smith. Like, how much does that help? How much do those guys help to kind of settle things down maybe when it wasn't going the right way?
Yeah, those guys play huge factors. I mean, they're big voices in the room. So, like, if stuff isn't going our way, like, they can always get us back on track. Like, obviously, they're very influential in the room, and they prove it on the ice as well. So, like, having those guys on the team, like, it's a big, like, they're a big part of this team. And I know that with them and then with all the guys, we can go really far this year because I think we have got the squad to do it. And I don't see anyone coming close to us.
Yeah, that's the key right there. You just said it. I mean, I like the confidence. The confidence right now, the way you guys are playing is unbelievable with the confidence level. So where does that come from? Talk about that.
I think that just comes from like our work ethic. I mean, like our team works our butt off every single day. And obviously the results have been showing. And obviously with wins comes confidence. And especially recently, like with the lot of wins we've had, that everyone's starting to gain that confidence, that jam going into playoffs. And I think the biggest part is if we keep that confidence throughout all 4 lines, all 3 lines of D and both goalies, then we're unstoppable because we're our own biggest threat. And I know that if we come together as a team, then we could do everything this year.
And you talk about the hard work as a team and for your game specifically, like what was it maybe in the off season or throughout this year that you've kind of been working on specifically or maybe off the ice that is you tried to maybe take up another notch, I guess, here in recent games?
Well, obviously this year with our team, we have a lot of high end players. So it's hard obviously to play that first, second line role and be a goal scorer because honestly, not everyone's a goal scorer. So for me, it's just trying to fine point the things I'm good at and being an identity player because yeah, maybe on nights, the first 2 lines aren't going. It's the third and fourth you have to rely on. And it's all about just like having energy because that like infects the whole team. If you have energy, lay a hit. And I just feel like with me, like this summer, it's just about really knowing who I am as a player and just really fine pointing those things. So like being a hard forechecker, being good in the D zone, doing all those little things so it can help the greater picture of the team. So yeah, I'd say that.
What was your diet like in the summer? What did you do for your skating as well? I mean, have you been working with Speedy Gonzalez on your skating ability? Just curious, first of all, that's my first question. And talk about the diet as well, because you've gotten bigger, you've gotten stronger, and you've gotten faster. So talk about exactly, I want to know exactly what you did in the off season. Pin by pin, minute by minute. I want to know.
Are you trying to get on the program, Mikey?
I need something. I need something. As soon as the season's done, I'm telling you, it's strict, man. Because I'm starting to feel like, but what do you call? What's that bear? That A&W root beer that's walking? That's what I feel like right now when I'm walking. So tell me what you did in the off season, though.
Yeah. So to answer your question, like about my skating, so my skating coach Dawn Braid, I skate with her almost every day in the summer for I'd say basically 2 months, and it's all about just like fine pointing things on my stride and leading into getting faster just by technique, and then it's a process during the summer. It's all about technique first, then you gain your speed, and I feel like it's helped a crazy ton. And then my diet is just eat as much as I possibly can. Just try to put on weight. Obviously, you burn it off on the ice and in the gym, but for me, it's just get protein in me, get carbs, and just try to bulk up because obviously, not being the biggest guy, you need to be strong so guys can't throw you off the puck. And I feel like I've done a pretty good job of that. And the same thing's going to happen next summer.
Unbelievable.
When you were talking about your identity, like being a hard forechecker and all that stuff and just finding kind of your role, how much does the coaching staff like Stefan Thorne and James Richmond help in that regard?
They help a lot. I mean, like doing video with them, talking about my game, like my biggest thing is I want their feedback and what they need from me. Because obviously, like I'd want to be, but like right now I'm not like a 50 goal scorer. So I just want to be a guy who they can rely on every single night, especially like coming up with playoffs and these big games. Like I want to be a guy who they know like every single night, this guy's on his game. Like he's not changing. We know what we're going to get from him. And it's just like, they've helped me a lot just by teaching me little things, like what I can add to my game that will positively contribute to the team. And yeah, they've done a huge job in the development this year of my game.
So pretty much, telling you this is your role.
Yeah.
This is your identity. And you guys are all, and that's the key. You're buying into this, and that's the key.
Exactly. That's the key in the whole room. Like we all have to buy in, and we all have to know what kind of player we are, because if we don't, then it kind of crumbles. Then another guy doesn't know, and so on and so on. But I think that a lot of guys on our team, probably everyone knows who they are as a player. And I feel like if you stick to your role and your identity, then you go pretty far.
Love that.
Yeah.
And of course, we're talking a lot about the playoffs coming up, and you got an experience in your rookie season to play in the playoffs last year. So, I mean, like, what can you draw from that to kind of help you out through this one?
Well, the biggest thing is I think everyone on our team now has playoff experience, so we know what's coming. Obviously, it's a very different type of game. It's faster. It's more physical. Like the little things matter, and just by like our team, just like we know what we know what we need to do. Like we know the systems. We know how other teams in the East play. We know how everyone in the league plays, and I feel like if we're a strong physical team the way we are, we move the puck well. If we skate hard, we play fast, and I feel like we do all those things and just have a high pace game with a lot of heart. I feel like no one will stop us because just of all the guys we have and the coaching staff, obviously, and the total buy-in.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to get a picture of Kieran Witkowski from last year to where he is right now. A picture of him. How much you've grown as a human. Like, never mind muscularity and the way you've been skating and whatnot, but how much you've grown maturity wise, talking to us, talking to the media and whatnot. Did you have any media classes or anything?
No, not at all. I think it just comes to age.
Really, you're so good. I mean, last year you were just kind of, you kind of had the 3-4, word answers, but now you're dialed in. So somebody must have been helping you, or just growing.
No, it just myself.
That's amazing.
You gotta tell you guys everything. I want all the viewers to know what's going on in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, sometimes I think the media training can kind of take that out of you a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes they can take the personality out of guys.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It does take the personality. Then you're like a robot. And
Well,
I
like
and I've
viewers
seen
want
it.
to viewers want to know like who you are as a person, not like obviously you see with some NHL guys they're kind of robotic with their answers.
Oh, I know.
Like the fans love people with personality, and I feel like that's a big part in the game. And obviously people knowing like our whole team, we're a bunch of characters. So
Yeah, you
yeah,
guys certainly are. That's for sure.
yeah.
You guys
So
certainly
with
make me
that
laugh.
with that personality, like
Excuse me.
what about off the ice, away from the rink? What's what are you getting up to, whether that's in the summer or during the year?
Well, I think obviously in the summer, Mikey knows this because I'm always harping in his ear about it. Like I'm a big golfer.
Yes.
And yeah, well, I love going out on the course like with my buddies. Like it's one of my favorite times. And then like during the season off the ice, I'm a big football fan, obviously with the
Yes.
Bills flag in the background.
Yeah.
And
Sorry about Miles Garrett. He ain't coming to Buffalo.
I know.
I know. I
You
was
threw me. You
excited.
threw me that little shot in Sudbury. You say he's coming. I said no. I said yeah. We'll see. I was depressed. I said yeah, maybe. Thank goodness he re-signed. But anyway, I know you're a big Bills fan. And you were gonna get mad at me if I cheered against the Bills. But I wasn't cheering against them.
I remember we were watching the Bills Chiefs AFC game on the bus, and I was just destroyed about that.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but
I think everybody was. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big sports fan overall. Like I love watching everything. Obviously in the summer, I love getting out on the course, hanging out with buddies, have a cottage, so I try to get up there as much as possible. And obviously just I love to train and kind of perfect my craft. So obviously dialing it in too in the summer on hockey.
So Kieran, you got a little brother too that's coming up in the OHL entry draft that's going to be coming up. I mean, how exciting is that for you and your family?
It's very exciting because like right now I'm seeing like the process he's going through, and obviously I went through the same thing 2 years ago. And it's good to give him advice, like what he needs to do. Like he's a kind of an opposite player of me. He's a big, tough guy. Like he'll muck it up, yeah. And he's got a good scoring touch. So, like I mean, he'll be a good fit on any team, and hopefully he can come to Brampton. Sorry, because I'd love to be a brother duo on an OHL team. But yeah, it's exciting. So I'm excited for him. Obviously, the draft's in less than a month, so we'll see how things go, and they need to get through to the OHL Cup right now. So they control their own destiny. So it's exciting. Awesome. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And we've seen, Jared Harding, Finn Harding playing together. Like that's got to be pretty cool. Have you allowed yourself to kind of think about that? Like what that would be like?
Like obviously this year I thought about it because he's a really good player. So like I don't know where he's gonna go, but like hopefully that our coaching staff, our scouting staff, like maybe we'll take a chance on him because obviously I know the type of player he is and I know what he can do. And I feel like, like seeing like the Harding brothers, obviously there's a lot of other brother duos in the league. I feel like that'd be really cool for me and my family they don't have to do all the driving, just one ring.
that'd be amazing. That's like a dream come true, man. Man. But I want to circle back a little bit here. So Aiden Lane comes to the team. You guys played together, of course, with the Marlies and whatnot. Now, when Aiden Lane first came to the team, for a little bit in those call-ups and whatnot, but before he was full-time now, you guys seem to have a really good chemistry. And talking with Aiden Lane, interviewing him, first person he mentioned was you. He said the one guy I had the most chemistry with in the beginning was Kieran Witkowski. Yeah. And you could totally see it. But man, talk about playing with this guy.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Like in our minor midget days, like he's probably one of the most skilled players I've ever played with. Like his puck control, like him and tight, it's unbelievable. And yeah, obviously, like when he told me he had the opportunity to come and play here during his sack season, I was super fired up and would love to get a chance to play with him because of all the success we had on the Marlies back in the day. And now that he's full time with us for the rest of the year, like it's awesome. Like obviously him coming late, showing him the ropes a little bit and like talking to him about the little things, the ins and outs. But obviously he's a huge part to this team. And I think he's a really great add-on this late in the season who can help contribute in the playoffs. So I'm happy he's here. And yeah.
Unbelievable how he fits in, how he just fits in like a glove with you guys.
Yeah.
I noticed too. So that's great.
Yeah, he's been a great addition.
Wow.
So being kind of like the maybe only connection point that he has with the team. Like, how do you kind of go about, getting him integrated into the team and stuff, because he is coming so late in the year?
Yeah. Well, like when he was coming in as a call up, like during the year with all those injuries, like obviously like he got to know everyone. So everyone was familiar with him. And obviously everyone knew he could play too, because during that time he was scoring, he was doing everything. So I feel like when he came back, he was familiar. He was more familiar. He knew all the guys. Like he knew what our coaches wanted. He knew the system. So like, yeah, like talking to him, like he's really happy and he's loving it here. So I think with him, yeah, we could do a lot, and I'm super glad again that he's here.
Like you scored a goal against the Niagara Ice Dogs there, and I was very happy for you, of course.
Yeah,
Oh, that
thank
goal!
you.
Oh, yeah! Oh, man! But so take me through that goal, though. I mean, you just threw it on goal. Hope because it went off the skate. Obviously, I mean, there's like 500 people in front of the
Yeah.
goal. Obviously, but take me through that goal.
Yeah, so Connor Smith did a good dump, like a little flip that their D really couldn't read.
The fair catch.
And me and Gaber kind of went at that D as bullhorn, so he just he backed right up. And obviously I was lucky enough to get the puck, and to be honest, I saw Gabe go back door, and I'm like, all right, I'm throwing this one to him because I'm on my backhand. And then I threw it, I see it hit the stick, and I'm coming around the net, and I see it trickle in. I'm like, holy, I just scored. Me and Gabe were awesome. Me and Gabe were joking about it on the bench. He's like, I could have tapped that in, right? And I was like,
no, you couldn't.
Yeah.
Nope. I'll bring the replay. Nope, that was your goal all the way. He had
exactly.
No that was like, good. He's over here. The puck's up here.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's good to get one. It's been a little bit, so pretty happy about that.
That's great.
Yeah.
And you just talked about playing with Gabe Sherratt. I've asked this. We've had Von Richter and Zabeski on the past 2 episodes, and I kind of asked them similar questions. But you guys have been all up and down the lineup. Like it's not that often that you're playing with the same guys. So how do you kind of get integrated with playing with different guys all the time on the ice?
Obviously, it's tough, but we all know what kind of players we are, and especially this year, like we basically played with everyone on our team. With all the injuries and suspensions and all that stuff. So feel like whatever the lineup is for playoffs, like we've played with the 2 other line mates we have before. So it's nothing new, and we're all very familiar with each other. So I don't think there's any issue there with our chemistry.
That's amazing. So last thing for me, how much steak do you eat a week? Just want to know.
I'd say, I actually had it last night, but I'd say probably 2-3 times a week.
Wow.
That's amazing. Big ones?
Big ones, yeah. Like
New York
sirloins, strip loin, like once in a month, maybe a ribeye. If I'm getting fancy, yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm gonna go. I feel like going down. I feel like going down to the butcher and get some right now.
Yeah, all the guys on the team, we love going to the keg. So we're all big steak guys. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's a great spot. How do you eat it? Is it how's it cooked?
Medium rare, always for me. I feel
not like Brendan.
What do you?
I'm a medium well guy. It's like sacrilegious to say that to people who eat steak a lot,
So you may as well just put a piece of. I tell them all the time. May as well just get a piece of rubber and start eating it.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's more tender. It's not chewy.
I'm tough to chew that.
No, it's not. It's not tough.
It reminds me of my wife. When I have to cook a steak, I cook mine or whatever, and I give my son some, right, Kieran? But hers, it has to be hers well done, and I stays. Oh yeah, and I have to stay in the barbecue forever. Mine, I'm waiting my steak. I'm like, oh my God. So and then I'll have to take it off, and then she's very picky. Then I have to put it. She looks at it. She has to cut it. And if it's not good enough, I have to put it back. It's not. No. Oh my God. Anyway, good that you eat the steak the real man's way.
Fair enough. I'll take that one. Last one from me. You talked quickly about it there, about being a Bills fan. We see the flag in the back. For people that are listening and can't see it, there's a Bills flag. Right behind him. So I'm a Bills fan as well. What have you thought about the offseason so far?
I think that Joey Bosa signing was huge.
Oh, yeah.
He's a guy that we really need because we need to stop the QB rush, and I feel like having him in there, like he'll stop a Mahomes, he'll stop a Lamar Jackson. Like I think we're good. I feel like obviously like my whole thing is, and we always talk about it in the room because everyone's different types of fans. And to tell you guys a story, like a bunch of us during the year when the Bills were playing against Baltimore, we all went down and made the trip and saw the game.
Nice.
So I think we had a lot of new Bills fans after that trip.
One of those.
Yeah, it was a
Gotcha.
good time. But
That's awesome.
But yeah, like I feel like if we have Josh Allen as our quarterback, then we're winning no matter what. And hopefully we can get over the hump this year. I feel like hopefully we can re-sign James Cook. Hopefully we can maybe pick up like another defensive part, but I feel like we'd be good. Yeah.
Thought the pass rush was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Joey Bosa is gonna. Yeah, he's
exactly.
That's right. I agree with you, Bills fans. Okay, I got one more question. I got one thing for you. All right, I totally forgot to ask this. So you're playing against Ryerson Leaders coming up.
Yeah.
What's the feeling like? You guys, talk about it.
Yeah, one in, we'll score a lot. That's what I think.
All right, we'll end it on that one. We'll end it on
that
that one. Love it.
Like that.
Again, that's putting the good word out into the world. I think
exactly. Yeah, gotta put it out there. Yeah,
exactly.
Obviously, he's a good goalie, but with our team, I think we're gonna light him up tomorrow.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Kieran, thank you so much for coming on, man. Really do appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the year,
guys. Yeah, have a great night.
See you soon. You
Take it easy.
See you, buddy. Bye.
That was Kieran Witkowski here on the Saga 960 AM on Trout Talk. I'm Brendan Lang. Mikey K is with me, Mike Karafilidis. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back on the other side, recap that interview, talk about games coming up, talk about the standings, everything that's going down to the wire here in the OHL season coming up to the playoffs. So we'll take a break right now. You're listening to Trout Talk on Saga 960 AM. And welcome back to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. Thank you so much for coming along with us. Brendan Lang, along with Mikey K, Mike Karafilidis, two broadcasters of the Brampton Steelheads. And Mikey just had Kieran Witkowski on the past side there on Trout Talk. Really great to talk to, and you can tell the confidence is there in this team right now.
I think the key right there, you said it, the confidence, but everybody's buying in. He's just said it right there. The buying in, and that, if you say that near the end of the season, and especially the way the guys have been playing, you could see it. And you can see the maturity from this young man, the way he's matured from last year to this year, the way on the ice. He's not afraid of anybody. He'll take on anyone, anytime, any place. I mean, hitting. He doesn't care. I remember big Eliason on Barry. I mean, earlier on this year, he was the only one that just, he said, come on, and he did whatever, knocked him off his feet, which is tough to do. So, but we're like the maturity of this kid. I like the way he said everybody's buying in.
Yeah, it's the right time of year for everybody to be buying in. And I like that you said too, talking to the media and stuff, like you can see the development of character as well year over year too. And coming in and he got to play as a 16-year-old, right? Like right out of being drafted, he comes in, he gets to play for the Steelheads and play in the OHL. And sometimes that can be tough. You got media, you've never done it before and all that kind of stuff. But no, he was definitely a difference for sure. And you could see that with a lot of guys, just the character development, year over year.
And that comes from from culture. Right,
100%,
and that comes from the culture of these guys, and we see it all the time. The way that how much they bond, they get along together. The coaching staff is so good with them. The staff is so good with them. They're good to the staff. I mean, it's all about culture, right? And that's how the kids grow. And there's a perfect example right there, Kieran Witkowski.
Yeah, that's right. And the culture too, of course, growing off the ice, like we just talked about, but growth on the ice as well is going to be created by that culture too. And having everybody together. And as you mentioned, buying in and as Kieran mentioned as well, buying into what the coaches want to do and how the team wants to play. And obviously they're buying in at the right time and they're playing some quality hockey. So you can tell there's confidence there, and they should be, because it's coming down the wire, and this is the time of the year that you want to have that confidence as high as possible. So we'll quickly go over the two games that we didn't get to in the first segment. If you did miss the first segment here today, we talked about two games. We started out with the Sudbury game, Steelheads losing 8-6, and then the game in Peterborough, they win 6-3. That was on Wednesday of last week. And then on Friday, you have the Barrie Colts, who have had a really good year. They went for it at the deadline, of course, making a bunch of trades. Steelheads played, I think, one of their best games of the entire season, winning that one 4-1.
They were absolutely dominant. It kind of kind of in the first period, it's kind of, I think both teams were trying to find their identity. It was more somebody was trying not to make a mistake, it seemed like, back and forth. And then I think maybe 10 minutes, into the first period, things kind of turned around a little bit towards Steelheads' way. They started to get a lot of shots in on Ben Horebic, who was absolutely phenomenal in that game. The shots on goal were 51 to 15 or something like that, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Horebic was good. The whole team was good. Connor Smith has turned it up to another level back there. The whole D was fantastic. Angus McDonald was good. Congratulations to him. We didn't mention signing his ELC, of course, with the Dallas Stars, well deserved. So now that's 2 players signed, right? Him and Finn Harding. Just to say, Finn Harding, he was dynamite in that game. But total team effort. Ivan Kovic was good when he had to be. Didn't have a lot of shots, but he was good when he had to be. And that's kind of game. That was a statement.
No, it is. It 100% is. And going back to the point that you made about Ivan Kovic, because remember, JR was talking to us, and he said that there were a few goals that he wasn't too happy about in the Peterborough game, and he was saying that was when we were up 6-1. It doesn't matter. You can't beat yourself up about those, and that kind of goes into that. There, it's like when he needed to make a big save, even though he wasn't tested a bunch, he was there and he made the stops. I mean, they don't win the game without some of the saves that he made. So that's obviously a huge development, is kind of getting him back in the rhythm. Gillespie had been playing well there too, but Jack's going to be the guy, going into the playoffs. So to kind of get that rhythm going, obviously that's huge for the team. But he did play well in that game against Barrie, and you said it, Ben Horebic was outstanding as well. In that game.
If his draft status has to have gone up.
Yeah, 100%. Big win in that game, of course, 4-1, as we mentioned right there. And one thing I also want to point out, because we're going to talk about the Niagara game here in just a moment, but you had said the shots, and they were 51-22 in that game in favor of Brampton, and then in the Niagara game, it was 44-10 in favor of Brampton. So that's a good sign as well.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you're all playing. They all played the Barrie Colts, and. Yeah, okay, but they're missing Tristan Bertucci, but that's the only guy they're missing.
Yeah.
Right?
No, and then
no excuses to me.
That's right. So, they outplayed them for sure, and then they outplayed the Ice Dogs as well in that Sunday matchup.
Oh my goodness! I mean, they just came out of the like a shot out of a cannon. And again, I want to go back to that line that was newly formed with Lucas Carmiris, Aiden Lane, and Carson Rakoff. And that line was formed in the middle of, I mentioned it before, in the middle of the Peterborough game, probably about in the second period. So Zabeski was on that line with Carmiris and Rakoff, and James Richmond decided to put Aiden Lane up there and kind of drop Zabeski. But I think it's benefited both players, actually, if you ask me. So now Zabeski against in Niagara, he was on the third line, right? But yeah, that line was unbelievable in that game against the Niagara Ice Dogs. Aiden Lane getting another goal and assist, a beautiful backhander. And how about the Connor Smith goal? Holy moly, the one-timer!
Man.
I mean, I thought I thought that was going to go right through the glass if that didn't hit the net. I mean, I was just like, what? Like, that was an NHL caliber one-timer, and beautiful I don't think shot. Any goalie had a chance at that. No. It was just like, boom, boom, that's it. Wow.
Yeah, it was amazing shot, amazing goal, and an amazing game overall for Connor Smith. What was it? 3 assists in the goal? That's, I mean, his best offensive performance as a Steelhead. But you had mentioned it. I mean, his play is just it's just picked up so much over even the past 5 games. And they call him the sheriff, and that's exactly what it's like back there. The big rig, the sheriff, everything. I mean, he just calms everything down on the ice, and he is going to be such a big piece going into the playoffs.
How about Parker Von Richter, Brendan? +6 against Niagara Ice Dogs. +6.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, those two guys playing together too. They've been outstanding as well since they've started playing together. They were kind of playing together at the beginning. They moved around, now they're back together, and it's been a great pair.
It's been a blessing in disguise.
Yeah,
together.
Oh, it has
everybody now. So now everybody's just picking up their game. But great game, great overall team game against Niagara, and good win.
Yeah, very good win, a very convincing win
I would
against
say.
the Ice Dogs. So we'll quickly go over these two games because remember when this airs on Sunday, the Kingston Frontenacs are actually going to be coming up right after this airs on Saga 960 a.m. But we'll quickly go over the Brantford Bulldogs game that's going to be happening tomorrow at the time of recording this. So you asked Kieran Witkowski about it. He said that they're going to light up Ryerson Leanders. He was very direct with that one.
Yes, he
Very
was.
confident. But
Yeah.
Brantford's a really good team, so it's going to be a good game there, especially in Brantford.
Yeah, you're playing against. I mean, Ryerson Leaders is going to be pumped up as well to play against his old squad. Like, of course, right? I mean, of course you're going to say that, and Ryerson Leaders is probably saying, "Hey, I'm going to shut these guys down." Right? Hey, this is where Ryerson Leaders. He knows a lot of these guys. He probably still talks to a lot of these guys, right? They were good friends before and whatnot. And it's just a friendly rivalry. You got to like that for Kieran Witkowski. Hey, yeah, we're going to light him up and whatnot. But Ryerson's a good kid, and we all know that, right? But here's the key against the Bulldogs. If they can be physical with Lardis and company, that's the key. You cannot give them two steps. If you're physical and you play the right way in your own zone, get on their defense, I think the Steelers should be successful. I really do.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure. I mean, you look at guys like, I mean, it's just two names, but I mean, Nick Lardis, O'Brien, Merrick Van Acker, like up front. I mean, they got a lot of guys who can create, but as you said, if you don't give them time and space, it's going to make it difficult on them. And I mean, I think that's kind of what playoff hockey is you take away the time and space, you take away the breathing room, and the Steelers have been doing that well against a lot of their opponents here recently. So
absolutely,
that's something that for sure is going to be a big point of emphasis in that game. As we sit right now, looking at this, the Brantford Bulldogs are in first place, 3 points ahead of Kingston and 5 points ahead of the Oshawa Generals with 89 points right now. So we'll see how that shakes out towards the end of the season. After that, on Friday night, the Steelheads have Peterborough once again. We don't have to really get into that one too much because they just played Peterborough. So kind of similar things we want to see from them in that game for sure. And then the final game of the regular season, Mikey, I can't believe we're at the end of the regular season.
Unbelievable.
We were talking about it at the rink. It feels like we were just there for the preseason.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It really does. But anyways, coming up after this on Saga 960 AM is the Kingston Frontenacs in Brampton. I just mentioned where Kingston is sitting right now in the standings. They're in third place with 86 points. It's possible though that they can move into fourth and play the Steelheads. Like there's still some implications, I think, for this final game of the year.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, I mean, the Oshawa Generals, they got 3 more games left. The Kingston Frontenacs got 3 more games left. Let's look through Oshawa's remaining games, and then we can kind of talk about it a little bit here, right? So, Brendan, do you want to pull that up there? Let's pull up the remaining games for each team, and then we can kind of see where they're going to go.
All right.
Excuse me, everybody, for my cough, by the way.
You're all
Still
good,
getting over
man.
this, man.
All good. Yeah. So again, the teams that we kind of want to look at are the Oshawa Generals, of course. Right now would be the Steelheads matchup if the playoffs were to start tomorrow.
Okay.
Kingston also we will definitely take a look at as well. We can even take a look at Brantford's schedule as well.
I think their final 3 games. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So Oshawa's final 3 games, they got North Bay and Sudbury. That's up north. So those are tough games for the Generals. And then they have Peterborough coming up tonight when this airs against the Peterborough Petes in Oshawa. So that's their final game of the year.
Yeah. Okay. So you got those 3. Tough road trip for the Gens, but they got to go 3-0. They got to go 3-0 to get that to move up in the standings right now. Otherwise, it's going to be Steelheads and Generals first round. So tough one though. It's going to be tough. I know Kingston. I'm pretty sure they got. I'm not sure. I think they got Peterborough, obviously Brampton,
and Bradford.
Yes, Brantford. So Brantford needs these games. They want to finish first in the standings right now. And then right behind them is the Barrie Colts, right? For 3 points, I believe. So these games, people can say, well, they don't mean much for the Steelheads, these last 3 games and whatnot. I think they do. I think they do. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes out with that 4th and final or the 4th spot because Yeah, so we'll see what happens there with the third and fourth, especially with Brantford too. You never know; they could drop,
Well,
right?
well,
I
that's
mean,
that's what I'm.
Barry's pretty much they're in that second spot. They're not moving
Yeah, I
anywhere.
think that's probably where they finished. But I'm saying like Kingston plays Peterborough, and obviously this is like kind of galaxy braining it a little bit. But like Kingston plays Peterborough there, the Steelheads play Brantford. If Kingston were to win and the Steelheads were to beat Brantford, it's only a 1 point difference. Brantford got to
There
play
you go.
Kingston. That could decide the top seed. Like
That's
it could
it.
flip. Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, there's a lot going on here
Yeah, a
down the
lot
stretch. Let's
going on.
actually take a quick look at Brantford as well. I want to see who they finish off the season
Do
against
you think
here.
Brantford's overachieving this year?
I mean, it's tough to say that they are because at this point in the season, if it was a month, 2 months into the year, you could say maybe they are. But when you get through
I
an
kind of,
entire,
yeah.
but when you get through an entire season, I think it's hard to say that you've overachieved. Like when you've played the entire year at that, I think that's tough to say that you've been overachieving.
I just wish, and I'm going to say that, like, I mean, with all the injuries, and then this is when the Steelheads played the Brantford Bulldogs with
Mm-hmm.
during when the Steelheads had the injuries, when the guys were at World Juniors. I mean, they were playing with APs against the Brantford Bulldogs and against the Kingston Frontenacs, pretty much, except for except for the last game when the Steelheads blew them out,
Yeah.
right? So just to say, I wish that the whole team was there against Brantford in those games and against the Kingston. Maybe the Steelheads might be up in the standings. Doesn't matter now, but I'm just saying. I just want to
Yeah,
throw that in there.
of
You know.
course. No, it would have been nice for the team to be
Oh
healthy
yeah.
for the entire season, but wasn't the case. So you gotta play with the cards you
Oh,
were dealt
absolutely.
at this point in the
Absolutely.
year. Brantford. So they, as we've mentioned, Brampton, of course, they have Kingston as well, and they finish off with Ottawa at home,
Hmm.
which Ottawa
Hmm.
is going to be battling too. So they're not going to
Yeah,
be rolling over in that game because they
it'll
want to
be
make the
good.
playoffs, right? So yeah, lots of things can still happen in the standings. Looking at the bottom of it as well, just 2 points separating North Bay and Ottawa, going down
Right.
with 3 games left, and obviously
Crazy.
those are great, really big games for those two teams. But quickly before we sign off here today, let's talk about the Steelheads in Kingston on the Sunday game
Sure.
coming up
Yeah,
right after
absolutely.
Trout Talk. What are we looking for in that game? Because you know what, Kingston's a really good team. They're coached really well, and they've got a great structure. So there's definitely parts to that team that are going to be really difficult for Brampton.
They're probably going to be mad. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
because the last time these two teams played, it was a 6-0 win. I believe it was 6-0 for the Steelheads or something like that. So they're going to be mad. They're going to be angry. They're going to come out angry. They're going to have Joey Willis back in the lineup.
right.
I believe they had a full lineup against the Steelheads except for Joey Willis last time these two teams played. So, but what the Steelheads did, they were physical with their defense. They were physical with them. They were able to get a lot of shots on goal. Probably see Charlie Schenkel in that game. It's
Mhm.
going to be a big one for Kingston, and guess what? It's going to be a big one for the Steelheads as well. Steelheads aren't going to roll over and say, "Oh, we're going to," especially James Richmond. You know him, right? He's not going to lay down and say, "Okay, you're rested. You're rested. You guys are playing, and we're going to beat these guys." Simple as that. I think it's going to be a hard-nosed battle. Stay
Yeah.
tuned.
Yeah, I
Really,
think
it's going to be a
that's
really good battle.
it's going to feel like a playoff game. I feel like the last 2 weeks, all the games have kind of felt like playoff games, but that one for sure
Yeah.
will feel that way. It's going to be a physical battle. You look at the season series so far, and of course, as you said, there were times where the Steelers were playing with a lot of APs and a lot of injuries, but Kingston won the
Crazy.
first matchup 8-2. Kingston won the second one on New Year's Day. That was
Now,
4-3 in favor of Kingston, and then 6-0.
right.
Kingston won the last one.
And don't forget that 8-2 game. That 8-2 game. That game was Porter Martone was suspended
Yep.
in that game, and that's when all the injuries were happening and whatnot, and everybody wasn't back yet to being 100%. In that game, then the second game, that was the game with all the APs. I mean, that's how close it was.
Right.
How hard they played. It was that close. And then when everybody
Yeah.
was back in the line, the Steelheads dominated them. So it's going to be a great battle.
Yep, 100%. Definitely looking forward to the final stretch here and looking forward to the playoffs as well. We're going to have, of
Yeah.
course, an episode before the playoffs start too. So we'll be able to preview what's going to go on with the Steelheads and what's going to go on around the league in the playoffs. Really, really exciting times. Awesome.
Maybe we'll make our
Awesome
predictions as
times.
well.
Yeah, we will.
Make
Yeah,
our,
we'll make.
we'll try.
Yeah.
I mean, I know my
Yeah.
predictions at the beginning of the year didn't go so well. So we'll get into that.
Yeah,
So,
we were off on those
a
ones.
little bit.
We'll wear that one. We'll wear that one.
Yeah,
But hopefully
that's
maybe our playoff predictions will be a little bit better. All right. signing off now. Mikey, anything you want to add at the end of the show today?
Get sleep.
Get sleep. Yes, that's right.
Get sleep. Stay awake. Stay awake. and eat your protein. Eat your protein like Kieran Witkowski, and you could be as big as him. Eat steaks 3 times a week, because boy, oh boy, he's matured a lot. But no, just to say, but eat your protein, get your sleep, and take your vitamins like Hulk Hogan says. Right? Isn't that what he said?
I don't know if he said that. I'm not.
Hulk Hogan. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not a wrestling guy. Can't tell you if he said that.
I just remember.
But yeah, still good things to remember. Whoever said it, whether it was Hulk Hogan or whoever it was. But all right, signing off right now. Again, coming up right after this, it's the Kingston Frontenacs and the Brampton Steelheads' final game of the regular season. Then it really starts in the playoffs. So looking forward to that. Myself and Mikey K will be on the call for that game. We'll get right over to the arena after this, and we'll be calling that game.
Right down there. We got
helicopters landing right now, and
we got the George Jetson mobile out there, so we're gonna head over.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Kieran Witkowski for coming on the program. Thanks, Mikey, for being here, of course. Mike Karafilidis, Brendan Lang, thank you for listening. And you are listening to Trout Talk here on Saga 960 AM. And enjoy the game coming up next.